Welcome to the training video on the application Touch Chat Fleet with Word Power on the iPad. We're specifically looking in this video at the page set called Picture Word Power 24 with Phrases. Okay, what you're looking at right now is the home screen. This is what the app is going to look like when you open it. And to begin with, I want to show you that this app has both the ability to use phrases and the ability to be generative. What I mean by phrases is a button that has more than one word. It actually contains a phrase. An example is right here on the left where it says, I want. This is in fact your primary phrase. I want. Then open the page where I can complete my sentence with a lot of other either phrases or words. I could go to my and start to be more generative. I could end it with more, or I could add another phrase such as to listen, to eat, to play, to drink, to read, to watch, to go, or to see. And I'm going to add another phrase. I'm going to say, I want to play. And when I press that to play, it opens a page of toys or things that I would play with. And so that feature is a rate enhancement feature called related categories, direct links to related categories. I'm going to finish the sentence by saying ball. Of course, I have to press it on my iPad, not the computer. I want to play ball. In order to speak my sentence, I can touch anywhere in this message window and it will speak the whole thing. Of course, you won't hear that on your video, but on the actual iPad it will speak. Here on the top right is a black button, a black kind of arrow with a white X. When you tap it a single time, it deletes one word at a time. When you tap and hold it, it deletes the entire message window content. To return to my home page, I always have a green house in the bottom left corner, and this button always brings me to my home page. Okay, so I just want to show you one more time what a phrase looks like. I want. I can press another button, such as to listen. It opens a direct link to related categories, things that I listen to, and I'm going to say I want to listen to jazz. And I'll use the black X on top to clear. Then I'll use my bottom house button or home button on the bottom left corner to go home. Okay, that is phrase-based language. I'm now going to show you an example of generative language, and we'll see some more rate enhancement features. I'll start with the word I. Then I'll press something else, another single word on a button. Generative indicates that you can form sentences that are unique, and you can put words together in any order, really. So I'm going to say I can go to the airport. And I'll go home and I'll clear. Let's do that same sentence again and look at some of the rate enhancement features that occurred. So when I say I, and then I say can, I know that each of these are opening a new page for me because there's an arrow in the top right corner. When I press the word go, this is a direct link to a related category because it's places that I can go. When I press the word to, and this button then turns into the word the, this is an example of a rate enhancement feature called next logical word. What it means is basically when you press a button and then the button changes to the next logical words, basically, that you would say in the sentence, or a nearby button may change to a next logical word that you would say in your sentence construction. The airport. Now I have a sentence. I can go to the airport. I can touch anywhere in the message window to speak this sentence, and I can either tap one word at a time to clear, or tap and hold to clear the whole message window. And then I use the, of course, home button on the bottom left to return home. We've now looked at the ability to be phrase-based, the ability to generate, and the rate enhancement features, direct links to related categories, and next logical word. The third rate enhancement feature that I'd like to show you is verb conjugation. This is one that also occurs when you're doing generative language. And so I'll draw your attention to this space right here on the screen, and I'm going to show you how the helping verb am and are conjugate. I'm first going to press I, and when I do, I get the helping verb am. The next thing that happens is that all of my regular verbs or action words have conjugated to present progressive tense. So play became playing, read became reading, watch became watching, etc. I am watching news. I'll clear this, go home. I still want you to keep your eye on this spot on the screen and watch what happens when I press the pronoun you. It becomes are. Where previously it said am, it now says are automatically based on the pronoun that I chose. You are reading a book. So that's an example of verb conjugation, our third rate enhancement feature. Most verbs will conjugate automatically. There are some that don't conjugate automatically, and those are ones specifically that occur under the Actions tab. Let me show you what that means or what that looks like. So we'll make a new sentence, and I'll say and I want to say paid. So I'm not seeing the word paid on here or pay. So I'm going to go to my actions. And I'm still not seeing it, so I'm going to use A to Z actions. I could either use this A to Z actions, or I could just press the next button to get more actions. But because I know that paid starts with P, it's going to be fastest for me to do this. I'll go to the letter P, and here's my verb pay. It did not automatically conjugate because it's giving me the options to say I paid, I am paying, or I pays, which we wouldn't say, maybe he pays. So in this instance, I want to say I paid. So now I'll add my ED ending. And you'll see that the spelling actually changed from P-A-Y to P-A-I-D. So it did automatically spell it correctly for me. It didn't automatically conjugate in that instant. And that's going to be the case when you select actions from the alphabetical list. But all actions, ones that occur most frequently and that therefore are listed on one of the screens, what I mean is when you see them like this, clear, and say you can do it. Well, there was an example of next logical word. Let's try this again though. When you're going through the screen like this, and you see a verb, these will conjugate. I am, whoops, I pressed too many buttons, but there was drinking right there. I am drinking. Those verbs will conjugate. The ones that will not automatically conjugate are the ones that you select in actions A to Z. But when you select them, and it automatically brings you to the home screen, and you can say jump, or jumping, or jump. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Let's go ahead and move on. We've now looked at the direct links to related categories, the next logical word, the verb conjugation, and the fourth rate enhancement feature is it's word completion with the on-screen keyboard. And so here in this ABC 1, 2, 3 button, what happens is that you have 4 blank spaces here at the top, and when you enter the first letter of the word, it's going to bring up 4 high-frequency words that begin with that letter. So, for example, if I wanted to spell the word just, I'm going to put in my J, and the word just actually came up right away. Okay? And so, after I put that in, it actually goes to next logical word. So maybe I'm saying, just like that, or just don't go, or something like that. Just like that. In fact, that sentence worked out. All I had to spell was the letter J and recognize the rest of my words. I can use backspace to delete individual characters, or again, I can use the clear at the top. Okay, let's look at another example of word completion. Let's try spelling the word, maybe cat. We'll put the C in, and there's no cat up here, so let's see if it happens to be a high-frequency word. We'll put in the A. There's still no cat, so I'll put in the T. Cat apparently was not a high-frequency word enough to be in there, but look, I do have the word cat. So that is the fourth rate enhancement feature. It is word completion within the keyboard, which we found right here on the home screen, the ABC 1, 2, 3 button. The other thing I want to draw your attention to is that the numbers are right here within the keyboard. This is how you can say the numbers 1, 2, 3, or first, space, second, space, third. And you'll notice again that next logical word feature popping up because it's asking me or giving me the option to say third grade or third time. I'm in the third grade, or this is the third time I've done this. Okay? You're going to really like these rate enhancement features. The next thing that I want to go over with you is the general organization of this language system. Where do I find vocabulary? Well, let's look at this, because there is sort of a modified Fitzgerald theme going on here. Here on the left, you have pronouns, including your pronoun phrase I want, and they're all yellow. Okay? Moving to the right, you have your helping verbs, as well as your actions, your verbs. Moving farther over, again, sentence, verb, object. You have the white buttons, which represent your objects. And then people is a pale yellow because that's more of a pronoun. So it's not a perfect grid separation, but in general you have a subject, yellow, verb, green, object white order on the screen. We have looked at actions, but we have not yet looked at questions. This question button allows you basically to start a sentence with a question word, such as what, or when, or where, which one, etc. Will I, do you, could we, are they? And then there are some sentence phrases, such as, what will we do? And it, again, brings me to a related category because I might want to say, what will we do about that? What will we do later on? What will we do now? What will we do Friday? Okay? Let's keep looking at questions. I'll clear my message window. Here's another question phrase. What time? What time is, what time is, I'll go back to my group and say, what time is the movie? Okay? You definitely can navigate between screens at any time. One more thing I want to show you in questions is the social questions. And these are basically conversation questions, like getting to know you. So what is your name? Where do you live? When is your birthday? So on and so forth. Here you also have a link to personal, and this is the student's personal information. My name is, I live at, I go to school at, so on and so forth. I'll clear those. And now you have the link back to your social questions. So you can essentially go back and forth. What's your name? My name is. Where do you live? You go back to personal. I live at, and so you can have this back and forth exchange. Okay, all of that, you can clear my message window. All of that was still in questions under social questions. Okay? The other place you can actually get that same thing is under social. And you can go to personal, and then you just start with your information. My name is, and then go to the questions. What's your name? Okay, the exact same pages. It's just another link to them. Let's go back into social and look at the other social markers that are here. This is where you have your yes, no, maybe, your please and thank you, your excuse me, your greetings, hello, how are you, goodbye. You'll notice that this follows a typical conversation. Hello, how are you? I'm, and you'll see that there's an arrow on the top right corner because that I'm opens a related category where you can say how you're doing, such as I'm good or I'm feeling, and again there's an arrow that will bring you to feelings. I'm feeling tired today, actually. I'm feeling tired. Okay? Let's look now at places. You'll notice the arrow in the top right, which means that when I press this button, it will open a new page. These are places. There are two buttons that lead to additional pages, the restaurants and stores. The blue arrow in the bottom right allows me to go back to the previous page. Here are the stores. I can again go back to the previous page or go home. I'll use previous page. And there's an arrow facing right instead of left, which led me to previous. Right means go next. And here are additional places. You'll see that I have a link to geography, a link to sports games, and a final third page. Now there's not a link, there's not an option to go forward, so I know that I'm at the last page, and I can only go back. Or, of course, I could go home. Let's look at those sports games. Basketball game. That was all under places. Okay. Let's look at time next. Time has your basic calendar information, as well as time markers like morning, day, night, now, later, today, yesterday, tomorrow, so on and so forth. Let's do a typical sentence. Today is Thursday, October 25th, 2012. Today is Thursday, October 25th, 2012. Okay? That was under time. I actually kept going in and out of the time box, but if I had used that arrow and come to the second page right away, I can start with today is, and then it will lead me through the options. Today is Thursday. It's just leading me. October, it's leading me right into days. 25th, 2012. Okay? I could either go back or use my home button to go all the way home. So that's a great thing for calendar time or for other times when you're talking about the day. Let's look next at the Describe button. Describe has colors. It has states of being like hungry and thirsty and tired. Has emotions like happy and sad. Has superlatives like better, good, better. Fun, funny. That might not be a superlative. Has, if I went to colors, it would open the color page for me. I can go back and look at Describe A to Z. So if there's a specific describing word, like an adjective that I'm looking for, and press like the N, and I'll get nervous, next, noisy, nice, new, near, all the N words that are adjectives or describing words. Okay? Additionally, let's look at people. Person, mom, dad, parents, family, friends, so on and so forth. So there's some generic people, and then there's groups of people. So I could go into family and put in pictures and names of my family members. I could go into jobs, and you'll see people listed by occupation. Carpenter, farmer, doctor, astronaut, firefighter. Let's go into people and look at school people. This would be a great place to put my teachers. Go into people and look at my friends. And this would be a great place to put my classmates, my friends from home and community. Okay? So what we have remaining now is the categories, and categories are in ABC order. So you see animal, art, one on the B's, body, one on C's, clothes, eat, drinks, toys, and then the next button. Each category opens a page with basically nouns that are in that category. So when I opened animals, I got cat, dog, bird, etc. I can go into animal groups and be more specific, like with water animals or different animal groups. Went too far. Farm animals, wild animals, so on and so forth. Pets, dogs, birds, dinosaurs, baby animals. Okay. Another thing that you're seeing in here is some other links where it makes it easy to talk about how many animals, what color animals. So I might be saying that there is one brown rabbit. Okay. Going back to my home button. We looked at animals. Here's art is the next group. Within art, there's a lot of nouns, markers, pen, pencil, crayon, picture, paper, paint, scissors, paintbrush, glue. There's also colors. Colors are related to art. There's the word art, and then a more button. Here's my shape, Play-Doh, tape. Okay, the word shape. I can either go back home, or I can go and look at more groups. Let's go look at more groups. Right here. Here's a remainder of my group. Again, in ABC order: appliances, containers, furniture, health, all the way down to W for weather. So let's just take a couple to look at. Let's say that I was working on money. I could go in here and say, use the carrier phrase, I need more money. Or something like, I need 5 nickels, and I'll use my S to make that nickels, space, and, see if you have the word and 2 dimes. Okay? So as you can see, you have a lot of language right in here to use. Here's that groups page again. I could go into weather and talk about the weather today. The weather is rainy, and actually it's foggy too. And there's my and foggy. The weather is rainy and foggy. Just clear that at the top. Go home. Go to my group. Maybe let's look at jokes. This is a great social tool. It says, want to hear a riddle? And I bet the cow. It says, why did the cow cross the road? Okay. And so the one next to it is the answer to get the movie. So the question and the answer is right next to it. Okay, and they're color-coded. Blues go together, the pale yellow goes together, the darker yellow goes together, the pink goes together. Question and the last answer on the right. You tell one. There's a that's funny comment, so on and so forth. Okay, let's go home. And let's look at one more category in the group. Let's look at, how about math? So here's some numbers in the math page. Plus 1 equals 2. This is not a calculator. I had to do that calculation. Okay, there's additional numbers all the way up to 100, and then your 1,000 and million. Okay. So at this point, you have seen the basic overview of the word power 24 with phrases, and definitely there's a lot of potential for language generation in here. The one last thing that I want to show you at the end of this video, and if you need to refer back to it, we're at 29 minutes and about 15 seconds. I'm going to show you how to edit now. We're only going to do really basic editing, and I'm going to show you how to create a new button. So in this instance, let's say that I want to put my teacher's name or my own name into the device. I'm going to go into People, and I'm going to go School People, and now I'm looking at the button that I want to use. I want to use this button right here, the blank button, and so I need to see it. Then what I do is I press the menu button on the top right, press Edit Page, Oh, and it says editing's not permitted. That's because I am in a text chat original vocabulary. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is make sure that I'm in one that allows me to edit. I'll just do a practice video. If you're watching this video, you're probably already set up in a page that's named, that has your student's name on it, and you'll be able to edit. You will not have to do this step. So right now it's copying the vocabulary. And when it finishes that, I'll go ahead and show you how to edit. Okay, there it is. Now I know I'm going to stop the video. Okay. So again, I need to see the button that I want to use. Here it is. I press Menu, Edit Page. I know that I'm in editing mode because there's a red bar across the top. Then I press the button that I want to edit. I just press and hold. And it brings a pop-up when I release it. I let go of the button. And I press edit this button, and I'm going to give it a label. In this case, I want it to say Miss Buffett, that's me. So I'm going to move my keyboard down so that I can see this is the new keyboard down button, and I'm going to do select image. Then I'm going to use that magnifying glass button at the top, and I'll tap on the white bar and type in what I want to search for. I'm going to try teacher, and I'll press search on my keyboard. And here are the images of teacher. I don't particularly like any of these images. I don't think it represents what I do because I don't usually work with a chalkboard. So instead, I'll delete that and search for woman. And sometimes you just have to be flexible with your search terms in order to find the symbol that represents what you want. So here's some images for woman, and I have brown hair. So I'll choose that one. Now I'll scroll down to the bottom. And this button action is speech message. That's all I needed to do. It's already there, so I'm going to leave everything else alone and press save at the top. Now I'll press done on the top left. And now my button is ready for use. It says Miss Buffett. Okay? So again, that's an extremely simple version of button editing. There's a lot more that can be done, but that's a whole nother video. Thank you for watching this training video.